Welcome to Life Coaches Unfiltered, where Desiree, Doree, and Michelle, three life coaches, are here to answer the questions you have, but we're afraid to ask. No fluff, no filters, just real talk to help you navigate life's big challenges. Let's dive in.
Welcome to episode 10. This should wrap up the first season of Life Coaches Unfiltered. I feel like we need little
10.
horns.
Golf clap.
It's 10. I cannot believe it.
Oh, we're in the double digits. I know, right? So today Dory's in the hot seat, but let's do a quick check-in. It's another rainy day. It's a good day to be a duck. My dog says she is not a duck. She would like to stay inside.
That's so fun. At least it's warm. Like growing up, I used to have the cold and the rain, and it's just kind of like, oh, and you just want to curl up on your sofa and do nothing. At least you step out. It's warm. Like it's warm rain. But it's just depressing. Now you understand why British people are miserable.
Oh my God. Really? Coming from the Brit, right? Oh my gosh.
Hence the reason why I moved. Hello. Sunshine. I love sunshine. Don't want to be miserable.
Awesome. I'm sure you love pollen too.
No. I do not. I hate the fact that I suffer so much, like all year round, and I get allergy shots as well. So that's how much I do not like pollen.
Mm.
But hey, I'm still here to talk the story.
Awesome. Awesome. Doree, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I am, I am going to be in my place starting tomorrow. It's so beautiful. I'm so
You sent me a
excited.
picture last night on text and it looks amazing. I'm like, I need her to come decorate my
Wait a minute.
house.
Why am I getting excluded here?
I was
Um,
just checking on her because we hadn't heard from her. So I texted her
yes,
directly and was like, are you
Mhm.
okay?
yes.
It
I
was,
felt I fell into like a major like moving like vortex. When you get like in the zone of doing something and I had people texting me and calling me and stuff, but I just was so focused of I've got to get this done. And I'm
Yeah,
one of those people that I was just like, I've got to get it done. And once I have that mindset, it's like it's game time. So I got everything done, gave away boxes. I mean, it just is now I'm adding more stuff because I'm leaving my friend Julie's house today and I've got like a pile of stuff to take. But you know what? I'm just excited. I'm very excited. What about you, Desiree?
oh, it's just, I've been working too much. I'm having a realization that some things in my life I might need to make some decisions on what stays and what goes. I
Mm.
just have too many, me and my 15 part-time jobs. Uh, anyway, it's just, yeah, I need a break. I worked all day Saturday at one of my part-time jobs. And yeah, so yesterday I did nothing, which was great. But
nice.
yeah, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things flying around the Desiverse right now, which is good. It's good stuff.
Busy verse. I
I
The
love
love that.
that.
Desiverse. Anyway, but yeah, I think I need to sit on my yoga mat and do some thinking about what
Mhm.
it's a good problem to have. Like, what do I need to prioritize? And I've already done some of that this morning, but yeah, like
Nice.
it's all good. I'm taking a little weekend getaway in a couple weeks. Y'all, I have not like done anything fun in probably a year and a half.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's
And
overdue,
Wow.
my friend.
yeah, like probably almost 2 years. And
Wow.
Oh
yeah.
gosh.
So I'm going up to like the Asheville area for the weekend and
Nice.
yeah, we're
Yes,
gonna go
Asheville's
see the
cool.
blue ghost fireflies and anyway, it's gonna be awesome. I'm
Nice.
excited. But
You
yeah,
deserve it. You really do.
I'm looking forward to it because I need to get some there needs to be I've been working too much.
Yeah.
I am here to tell you people if you are overworking, at some point you're going to become ineffective. This is a happy spot for me, this podcast and I just thank y'all for getting on the train uh and
Riding it,
figuring this
girl.
out.
We riding it. We riding
Well,
it.
I was hoping you were, when
Cuckoo!
you were on your mat thinking things over, that this wasn't one of the things that was coming
No,
off the
it's not
plate.
even under
So,
consideration. No,
Good.
no, it's not.
Good.
It's no, this is a momentum. This is a piece of momentum in my life. So I'm definitely keeping it. All right. So let's get into it. Dora, you ready?
maybe.
Yes, you are. Listen,
Yeah.
we're not meanies. This isn't like a roast.
Stop.
Desiree.
Ooh. Well, I was going to say Michelle may roast me. I don't know.
Michelle,
Oh,
we already
thanks.
talked about Michelle's favorite question to ask you. So
I
we're not
know.
going to
Have you
start
seen?
off with that one, Michelle.
Okay. All right.
Um, if you have kids in the car, you might want to put headphones on.
Yes.
Okay. So Doree, tell us about like how did you get into coaching? What tell us a little bit about your journey and that you found hypnotherapy. Like how did you end up where you are?
So for people that may have heard, or people that know me, I have October will be 13 years of sobriety.
Oh,
Yeah, I have not had a drink of alcohol like in 13, almost 13 years. It's very strange, very, very strange. I love the little horns or the little party horns. Um,
me too.
so when I actually went to rehab, and part of my rehab, I smoked cigarettes, and they said you should quit smoking while you're here. And I was like, no way, I gotta have like some kind of vice. I've got to have something that makes me look cool. Which, by the way, people listening, smoking is not cool. You do not look cool. But I felt like it was like something that made me kind of a badass, so I was going to continue doing it. About 3 years into my sobriety, I actually, it's very strange, but I had this like epiphany of like living a more holistic lifestyle and having a more spiritual lifestyle. And I decided that nicotine was not part of that equation. And so I tried everything, the patch, Chantix, I guess I could say the name. Um, and all of these different things. I've even called what we call in AA white knuckling it, just trying to grasp to get through it and couldn't do it. And a friend of mine said, have you ever tried hypnotherapy? And I said, no, but I'm game for anything. Y'all, I'd smoked since I was 15 years old. I got sober when I was 39. So 3 years after that, with 41, yes, 41. I went to a hypnotherapist, and in 6 sessions, I was done forever. And so that has been, I'm still trying to do the math. It is really early to be doing math, but let's just say it's been over or going on or over 9 years, 10 years, gosh, 10 years, and that I had a cigarette. So, and that was a really big deal for me. Fast forward, I was married. I was married to Ken. Ken and I had been married for about a year or two, and I had these wonderful twin girls in my life. Um, one of my biggest regrets when I got sober was not having children. And then I met Ken, and he says, I have 11-year-old twins. And I was like, that's so cool. And he was like, really? Um, but and so I had all of the things that you would consider to be a perfect life, right? I had sobriety, I had a wonderful husband, I had a beautiful home, which I just sold, a beautiful home, these beautiful girls in my life. We even got a dog. I mean, we had everything going for us, but I was not happy. And I decided in that moment that it was time for me to get a coach. Um, not knocking therapy. I've been in therapy since I was 13 years old. Not knocking therapy at all, but I know that I needed something different. I needed something that was going to move the needle and move it really harsh, because I knew I couldn't continue going that way. I was screaming, I was crying, I was on conference calls, and I'd go like off camera and bang my head up against my desk, and just was like, something is wrong. I can't live this way. And so I found this wonderful coach. Her name is Jess, and she, Mystical Maven was sort of her thing at the time. She does Ageless Jess now, but she's really incredible. But I met with her, and within like the first couple of sessions, I went in and I said, can you make me love my job? And she said, we can definitely look at it and see if this is what's going on here. And so started working toward, that. And within like seconds, she goes, Doree, it's not, no, I can't, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You have a passion and a purpose that you have not even touched yet. And so as we started going through, it was like the word coach kept coming up. And I went, well, first of all, I sucked as a sponsor. I was not a very good sponsor when I was in AA. I had wonderful sponsors, but I was not a very good sponsor. So I thought, what's going to make me how can I be a coach to people when I suck as a sponsor? I didn't like it. It was not, it just was not something I enjoyed doing. And, but I wrote a book. Don't think I've ever said that. I think we talked about that. I wrote a book, and one of my friends was like, you got to have, and I wanted to do speaking. That's something I'm very passionate about, speaking. And a friend of mine says, people are going to want to work with you. That's just the way it is. And so I published my first book, seriously, how I went from a hot mess to a daring badass. And I actually had somebody reach out to me online, and she said, I used to be a badass. I don't know what happened to her. Can you help me find her? And that's where it started. Was she reached out to me, and I said, I can do this. And I think I would like doing this. And so I started working with her. I kept, in the meantime, kept going back to my hypnotherapist. I had a fear of riding in a car because in my 20s, I was in a really bad car accident. They had to take my friend out with the jaws of life. They took me away in an ambulance. It was pretty. And so riding on the interstate was a bad thing. Like we go to summers to South Carolina, and my husband, Ken, would be like, you've got to do something. You're killing me. You're killing me, because I'm like, my face is up against the window, like this, when we're passing 18 wheelers, and just kind of like, or I'm climbing up the seat, or like I'm doing like this. And he's like, you're just 3 visits done. I mean, it was the results that was seeing myself from hypnotherapy were just so powerful and fast and effective. I went to I was talking to my hypnotherapist. I said, how do I learn how to do this? She said, interesting enough, I'm opening a school. Will you be my first student? So I started training under her, and she's probably one of the best I've ever seen. So I had the privilege of working under her for about a year and a half and learning the techniques and the way of doing it. I added it to my coaching program, and it really started to become the part of the program. So if you in our networking group, if you see me in my networking group, I'm referred as the hypnotherapist, not a coach, but coaching is part of what I do. It was a very long story. Sorry.
But a great story. I mean, I was kind of like enthralled, Stories just kind of like drag you in. I'm just like, oh man, that's cool.
Listen, I'm just going to tell you, you're probably going to feel like you talk a lot in this episode, but this episode is about you, and that's kind of the point.
Yes,
So
it is.
I'm
But
just,
so I got the question, and so this is going to be the funny question, right? Because just because. It may sound better in a British accent. So, when you were doing this hypnotherapy, because some people think hypnotherapy is a little bit woo-woo, a little bit out there, a little bit
Mhm.
fake, a little bit, what the hell is this? Um, so did you like take your clothes off or anything whilst you were doing this and run around because these are like some of the things that people think, that hypnotherapists make you take your clothes off and run around naked and stuff like
Right,
that.
right, right, right.
But it, if it works, it works, right?
Only when I
inquiring.
was at home. Only when I'm at home did I do that. But no, I get that a lot actually. A lot of people, clucking like a chicken, barking like a dog, getting naked on
What?
stages. It's it's so funny. The woman that that was my mentor for a period of time was like, yes, we can do that, but I charge extra. So it's one of those things that people see hypnotists when they're in Vegas. And but one of the things you have to really think about is people buy into that. I can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do. Your subconscious mind is absolutely built to protect you. It is the thing that is scanning the room right now while we're thinking. I mean, while we're talking, it's looking behind you. It's going on all around you, going, is there danger? Is there anything that we need to know? It's controlling your breathing. I mean, it's doing all these fantastic things at one time, helping to regulate your system, your nervous system. It's doing all of these things. So it's here to protect you. It's not here to cause you to, do something that you don't want to do, which is, one of the things that I have to like dispel that myth really quick as a part of this is like, I'm not going to make you bark like a dog. You're not here for my amusement, though I would love, you're not here for me to toy with. It's something that's actually very, very serious. I take it very seriously, and it's effective and gets results, but I can't make you do anything you don't want to do.
Well, that just underscores how much trust people need to have in your relationship and your professionalism. And I totally get that from you. I do trust you. Like you're a trustworthy person. I run up against that in life coaching too, right? Like people are like,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to talk to you about my grief or really heavy stuff, like how am I going to know that I can trust you? You know, like being hypnotized is the epitome of being vulnerable, of stepping into vulnerability. You're not just stepping into vulnerability, you're running flat into the wall of vulnerability, right? You're just like ramming into it, just like, yeah, sure, I trust this person. So that makes a lot of sense, Doree.
In the first visit, usually what I tell people in the first visit is, look, you're probably not going to go very deep the first session because you don't know me. I mean, Desiree and Michelle, if I hypnotize you, you probably would go pretty deep pretty fast because number one, I think you're very hypnotizable. But the second thing is that you trust me, you know me, you know I'm not going to be doing it, you know I'm a professional, right? But I tell clients the first visit, look, you probably are going to hear everything I say. And that's completely natural. It's completely normal because your subconscious mind has to get used to me and go, we don't know this person. Again, protection. It's there going, who is this woman? What is she? What is this? What are we doing? And then after the first session, it goes, whoa, that was really, really like relaxing. You feel really good. It feels very it's just an incredible feeling. Some people say it's kind of a weird feeling because you're not having to do anything. You're not talking to me. It's not, I'm not going, so tell me, what are you thinking right now? Are you seeing, what are you seeing? That kind of, it's not like that at all. It's a very relaxed state. 2 hour or 20 minutes of hypnotherapy is the equivalent of a 2 hour nap. I mean, it is a very relaxing experience, but it does take some time, especially if you don't know me, for that to happen. And it's one of the things I tell people, don't worry about it. It's still working. Whether your conscious mind is still trying to take control of the situation, your subconscious mind is trying to go, wait a minute, hold up, we don't know her. Don't worry about it. It's still working. It just you're gonna experience different levels of depth at different time, and it's all okay.
So after you've said all this, I'm kind of curious now, how does the session kind of like happen? What happens? What do you do at the beginnings to kind of get people to get into that subconscious mind? Because, people might think that it's the same as meditating, but
Oh, good. Ooh, yeah, yeah. That's
so what's kind of different about it? Because again, if people don't know, they don't know, and I'd love for you to kind of explain.
yeah. That's a very good question. Because sometimes people think about being hypnotized and meditation. Meditation, you're actively trying to focus your mind. So you're actively working your brain and your mind and trying to create centeredness. With hypnotherapy, it's a little bit between the theta and the delta. It's more in the theta. Right before you drift off to sleep, you're in a hypnotizable state. But listen, you're in a state of hypnosis all the time. If you are riding down the road and you get to your destination and you go, did I stop at that red light? Did I stop at that sign? You are in a hypnotizable, you're hypnotized, you're in a trance. And it happens all the time naturally. It's just when your conscious part of your mind goes off, tries to solve world peace while your subconscious mind is what's driving the car. So when you come into your first session, I explain these types of things because I want people to know what it is and how it works. And once I explain how it is, what it works, what it is, what it isn't, we then do a couple of things for me to know how to talk to them in a hypnotizable state because people think differently. If I say something to you, Michelle, in one way, and I say it to Desiree in the same way, it may not actually have the same impact on her as it does you. So, for instance, if I say to you, Michelle, and you're feeling very relaxed. Now, if you're a certain mindset, you may be going, no, I don't. In your head, going, no, I don't. Desiree, on the other hand, I can say, Desiree, you're feeling very relaxed. She goes, yeah. It's a different mindset. So I do a couple of different things that let me know how someone thinks so that I know a little bit better about how to different ways to say things in a when they're in the hypnosis. And then we do what's called a relaxing exercise. And that's what anybody who wants to do any kind of like self-hypnosis, affirmations, that type of thing, definitely get in a relaxed state. The window, I call it the window of like spirituality, the window of God, or is when you first wake up in the morning and right before you go to sleep at night. That window is the best time in the world to do any kind of affirmations, any kind of forms of gratitude, because that's the moment when your conscious mind has not started like going. It's it is in that moment that everything is really in a really, that's the sweet spot. So what we're trying to do before we do hypnosis, kind of open up that sweet spot, get you in a relaxed state by doing a relaxing exercise. You probably guys have probably already experienced it. People listening, maybe you've experienced this before where you're relaxing different pieces of your body one at a time, moving slowly up. You can do this at home. You know, focus on your calves. There's some where you can squeeze your calves really tight and then let them go. It creates this like relaxation that's amazing when you tense and then let go. All of a sudden, everything just kind of melts away. And then we do what's called a deepener. And a deepener is something that you may have seen on TV before or heard or watched on a movie where they do a countdown where we count down. Usually you may hear of a stairway. I do a stairway a lot where you have them walking down a stair. And so what you're doing is you're just going deeper into the subconscious mind. And along the way, I'm doing suggestions along the way and doing things that they want in their life. And that's the big key thing about all of this is what do you want? What is it? People come to me a lot of times wanting to get rid of something, right? They're like, I'm afraid of flying. I want to quit smoking. I want to lose weight. I've had people come to me for anger management. There's so many different things that people want to get rid of. In the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, that's what you think you want. But what you really want is something that's probably a little bit more of peace, happiness, and all of those different types of things. And so what the suggestions are related to is, yes, I'm talking about you don't smoke anymore, but we put something in to replace that. And that's really where the yummy stuff about hypnotherapy is it's so gentle. It's so relaxing. It is very, I just, to explain it, it's very hard to explain but it is really, really this state of where dreams can come true. It just really is, but you've got to want it. If someone comes in and says, well, my wife wants me to quit smoking, and so here I am. First of all, I probably wouldn't take them as a client because I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. If you think I'm not hypnotizable and I want you to prove it to me, I'm not your person. If you really want to make changes, then game on, let's do it. Let's get this accomplished and let's make things happen for you.
So that's a
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was winding down. Thank you.
It's a great segue into tell us who you love to work with. Like who are your favorite clients?
Absolutely love working with young adults is my favorite. I work with young adults when they are stuck or having trouble with their confidence level, just feel like they're not making any progress in the world. And, I've had clients that are of different ages within that. Of course, I work with adults right now. I've some adults that are my clients. One was, around coping with being a parent. It's interesting for me how when a parent shows up for me, I don't know if they're going to be my client or their child or their young adult's going to be my client. It's kind of like I need help with my young adult. Okay, let's talk about it. And then I talk to the young adult and they come back and they go, I think I'm supposed to be working with you and not my young adult, helping me to learn better strategies and working with my young adult. And that's what I really feel like my secret talent is that I know both languages of what it's like to be an adult and a young adult and help to bridge that communication gap between the two of them. And so I think when a parent shows up, it's exactly the right time for the parent to be there to learn different techniques, but also learning different ways to communicate. And then and vice versa. So yeah, my favorite is young adults because I find they're so open. And what a wonderful way for me to contribute to the world by helping young adults to be more successful adults in the future. I really wish young Doree would have gotten this in her 20s. You know, I don't regret the things that have happened in my life. I don't regret where I'm at right now, but I really wish that I would have had something like this in my 20s. I can't even imagine where I would be now if I would have had the tools that I have now. You guys probably can relate to that too, right? If you had the tools that
Amen.
we know now back then, but young
Right.
adults are screaming for it. And right now, I believe that we have reached like this really unusual spot in time where we have social media, we have all these things, but there's like things are being glorified, like suicide's being glorified in some ways. And there's a stress level that is just killing like people in general, but the stress levels are so high. But young adults that don't know how to handle this, the resilience factor right now, I believe, of young adults is at an all-time low. And one of the things that I am really, really feel like my purpose is to help them find and build that resiliency factor, because life is going to happen regardless. And it's how you choose to deal with it. And it all starts with how you think about things. And that is really the power of what hypnotherapy is. It changes the way you think.
Yeah. And I mean, what stuck out to me with what you've shared so much so far is like a couple things. I didn't know what relaxation felt like because I had lived my whole life in this ball of stress. Like I just grew up in a family where we were busy all the time. Relaxation was not part of I didn't know what that felt like. And then, then we think that we grow up thinking that our way of thinking is the right way. Well, it's the only way that we know, but it is not the only way,
Right.
period. And so being open, but I don't know that I would have been open as a young adult. I had to get into the nitty gritty of, I don't know. I think life had to, I was like, I was like that little stubborn can, and you had to get the like Swiss Army knife can opener and crack me open so that I would be like, I'm miserable enough to make a change, right?
Oh
I was
my
miserable back
gosh.
then, but I was oblivious to my misery.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, in the age of social media, people are able to see other people having these beautiful lives and it's all curated and a lot of BS. But you get into that comparison plus the online bullying. Like I would not want to be a teenager or a young
Yeah.
child.
No,
No, thank
no.
you.
I mean, we have now like what May is
Health awareness.
mental
Hmm.
health awareness. We didn't have that back then, but I think it is more of an awareness. I think that it's a catch 22, right? We have more social strains and stressors now that are on young adults and adults, but we also have an awareness now that we didn't have. And I believe that people of our generation are now waking up and seeing that you don't sweep stuff under the rug. If you sweep stuff under the rug, it becomes more of a problem.
Hmm.
I told one of my bonus kids once, I just said, either you deal with it now or you pay for it later.
Mhm.
And when you pay for it, the price is much higher. It's like with software, right? When you have the software cycle, you have the development stage, the QA stage, and then you have production. And if you fix it in development, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to fix it there than it is when it goes to production. Same thing with any of our world problems, right? You fix them and nip it in the bud, the sooner the better. Then you don't have time for it to fester.
Mm.
Say it, sister, preach, because there needs to be a lot of people who need to hear this because again, that's why we're in the business, right?
Yeah.
Because we've got those people who have gotten to the extreme and it's just like, they're paying the price and it's a heavier price now. And especially as we get in adulthood and that kind of realization of, and as you said, Desi, that you were in that stress state for so many years and how it affected your life. And then there was that switch or that realization, it's like, shit, it doesn't have to be like this.
Hmm.
Yes.
Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like this.
And
But
that's
yeah, you're
what
right. Social media is just,
Well, and I think people come to us, right, when it's enough is enough.
hmm
You call it, in AA, we called it our rock bottom. But everybody has a different level of what their rock bottom is. But I think that the pain, for some reason, when it comes to self-improvement, self-help, people wait until the pain is so unbearable that they'll do anything to change it. What would happen if you were able to be brave enough to say, I'm going to change it now before the
hmm
pain becomes too much?
yeah.
I'll talk to somebody and I'll say, we'll talk about what I do, we'll talk about my pricing, we'll talk about all these different things. And they're, yeah, 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 yeah. And then they ghost me until like a year later. And then a year later, here they are. And they're like,
Even worse.
I tried other ways. I've tried all of these different things, or enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, you could have already been a year further down the road. But you know what? You appear when you show up when it's time to show up.
Yeah.
And for some people, they need to have a little bit more experience of pain under their belt before they're ready to make a change. There's one other thing to keep in mind, and I think we've talked about change and all these awesome things this season, right? Is that it's become so normal to you, you don't even realize that it's a problem, and your mind wants to keep you safe. And even if it's a sucky safe, it still wants to keep you in sucky safe mode because it's what it knows. It's the
Yeah.
known. The
Mm.
unknown is terrifying to the mind. And so that's why I think people are afraid to change so often. But it's a beautiful thing when you can cross to the other side and realize that there truly is a way to be happy. I mean, it is absolutely such a beautiful way of living when you can let go and go, the old way is not working anymore. And what if I try this? And you just might find the happiness you've been looking for.
Like
Mm.
believe it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's powerful.
It is.
So how does somebody know if they're ready to work with you, Doree?
I think for me, it is all about you're ready for the change. It's you have to be 100% like ready. Hypnosis works. And it takes some people come to me and go, well, how many sessions is this going to take? How long is this going to be? I'm like, I don't know. How long have you been doing this? It's not, it. I wish it were a magic wand. I say it is not magic, but it is magical. But it takes what it takes. But usually, what I hear people saying is when they come to me is, "This is my last option. I'm at the end of my rope. I've tried everything, but this doesn't seem to be working. I don't know what else to do. I mean, it's just that frustration of you've been banging your head up against the wall for so long that, the headache is too big and you're ready for something different.
Mm. So with that, then, um, do you give your clients any freebies or,
Yes. Yeah,
oh, tell us
I
what
do.
freebies
I
you
do.
give.
Actually, I may change this one day. I don't know. But right now I do a consultation, and I have a part of my program is that it's 12. My program is 12 sessions. And does it take 12 sessions? Not always. I mean, I've had people that have a fear of flying, and within 3 sessions it's gone. Can you imagine? 3 sessions. And now you can travel all over the world. I mean, but they're there for other things too.
Mm.
But 12 sessions, but part of my thing is that the first one is on me. And because it is an investment,
Yes.
and you are investing in yourself.
Mm.
And it's a mini session. It's not the full blown, hour and a half, however long it takes. It is definitely a mini session, but it lets people experience what hypnosis is about, what it's like, because I definitely have been one of those people that have signed up for something in the past and regretted it within like the first, couple of visits. I don't want that. I don't want people coming into work with me going, oh my God, I can't believe I've just, spent this amount of money. And now I am, here I am. And, but we can work on money issues too.
That's
I,
another great topic.
I was about to say, can you hypnotize me about these bloody water bugs that come into my house? Because
The water bugs?
those bugs,
Oh,
those
Are you talking
palmetto
about,
the
bugs,
palmetto bugs, the palmettos.
let's
I
just
hate
Yeah.
call them
them.
what they are. They're roaches.
They're cockroaches. Yeah, they're nasty,
Water
nasty, nasty.
bugs. Michelle
That's what they
always
call.
makes it so fancy.
That's what people call
It's
them, the
so
water bugs,
fancy.
palmetto bugs. I mean, I scream. I literally, I'm kind of like,
I do
can you
too.
hypnotize me to,
I
like,
can, I could, but why? I mean, they're nasty. There's some other things that you definitely should come ahead of like, no, no. I saw one in my new apartment. It looked like the size of a remote control going across the floor. I was like, oh God.
oh
The
my God,
size
I
of
would
a
be
remote control.
screaming.
Uh,
I did. I screamed. Yeah.
oh my God. I mean, the worst part is when you realize, like, if you like, okay, so my sister and my sister might hear this, but she tells this story, so I'm gonna tell it. She used to pay my brother to come and kill them in her room when we all lived, when we were growing up. She'd be like, she would pay him, and they would have this negotiation. Like I would listen to it because she hated him so much. And I've just like, then I was single and I was living alone. And I'm like, there's nobody, if I scream, it's not going to make any difference. I just
Yeah.
need to suck it up and figure out how to deal with these things. Right. And so I've come up with the theory that if I can stomp on it and kill it, it's okay. But like mice, I could not, no, like there's a limit. And I remember when I was a kid, speaking of things that we're afraid of, I do not like reptiles. I just don't. And it was something about a snake, and my dad was like, he looked at me and he thought he was so smart and so wise. And he was like, well, who's bigger, you or the snake? Well, who should be afraid of who? And I'm like, shut your mouth. Like you're trying to logic me out of like my fear. That's
Yes.
dumb. Like, don't be doing that. So yeah. Who's
You
bigger,
nailed
you
it
or the
though. You just nailed it though. That's exactly what it is. A lot of times we try to logic our way out
out
of
of our
things that
fears?
out of our fears, but fears are, and who knows sometimes how you get them. Like sometimes you get a fear just based upon you as a kid, you caught like a sliver of a conversation between two adults. And your subconscious mind tried to like thread it together and make sense of it and created a little ball of fear. And as you get
Mm.
adult, you add in more and more to that because I say like the mind is a filing cabinet and it keeps like going through trying to find evidence of why you're afraid of that. Well, because of this and this and this. Like one of my clients that was afraid of flying, I asked him, I said, how many times have you flown? A ton. How many times have you experienced turbulence? Once. When you get on a flight, what do you think about that one turbulent time? And that is the mind's way of going, see, I told you. I told you. So your logic tries to take over and tries to make up everything, and then the subconscious feeds into the logic and just goes, yep, 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 yep. Here's this and this and this and this and this.
It's like the little Muppets. Yep, 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 yep. What was that? Was it the Muppets or Sesame Street? It's like
Fraggle
little.
Rock.
Oh, I think it was
Was
Fraggle
that
Rock.
Fraggle Rock? I loved
The
Fraggle
yip,
I
yip,
was
yip,
just
yip, yip,
about
yip,
to
yip, yip,
say it
yip.
sounded like Fraggle Rock. Oh my God, we're
Rock.
dating ourselves here.
We just dated ourselves big time. Now I have the theme song in my head. Thank you.
Yes. Now, as you said that, now I've got it in my mind, and then
Yes, now
I've
we can
got
all
Sesame
sing it.
Street going. Yeah. Thank you, Desiree.
Sorry. Sorry. I didn't mean to do it. It just, it's my crazy brain. It works.
That's so
It's
funny.
mysterious.
That's so funny.
Oh my goodness. So Dory, this was a really great overview of how you got to where you are.
Yeah.
Like I learned so much about hypnosis. So how do people find you? Let's talk about like they're listening to this and they're like, I want to ram into the wall of vulnerability, hypnotize me. I'm gonna
Wow.
jump into the deep end of the pool.
Okay. Ram into the wall. Okay,
There
please
we
do not
there
do
we go.
that at home.
It is not that painful.
I'm not,
It,
it's a padded wall.
I
oh,
just
okay,
wanted
that
to
makes it sound like you're crazy. It's a padded wall.
Maybe it's a trampoline wall.
It's like floating on a cloud.
My
You
gosh.
jump into the giant cloud of
Jump into the
vulnerability.
cloud of vulnerability and float away. Um, they can find me at therealdoreo.com. Also Doree and that's Doree. I get it. Finding Nemo is a really great movie. I loved it myself, but it's not Dory. It's
You
Dor.
predated the movie.
I did.
You were,
I hated my name growing up. Absolutely hated being a Dory in a world of Elizabeths and Carlas and Christies. It was a very like very, very like I hated it, but now I love it. But yeah, it's Doree is how you spell my name's Doree. And it is pronounced Dory, like yes, like finding Nemo, finding Dory. Yes.
awesome. And then if they want to find you on socials, there's links to that from your website.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Find me on social. I need to get my TikTok going again. I was on TikTok for a while. So
Really?
I'm on
Rather you than me,
Were you
girl.
doing the little dances?
I do a little bit of one of my ideas that I had one day was sort of a what parents say and what kids hear.
Ooh,
Because I
Oh.
can relate to my mother, God, love you, mom. My mom saying something to me and I interpreted it as I'm not good enough. And so I started this little series of you said, parent, this, and this is what they heard, but this is what you meant. And so I was on a roll with that. And then, and then I had August of last year. I think my world kind of changed a little bit, but I'm really excited about getting back into that because, again, communication is so important. And the way that we speak, we think that we're saying something one way and it's being interpreted a different way. We have as a humankind, we really have got to start thinking about it's not just our world and the way that we perceive it. Everybody's perceiving and hearing things in different ways. And if we could take a moment just to reword or rethink how we're saying things and the way we're acting, I believe it changes everything.
that's a really, I had that come up to me. Uh-oh. You okay? Okay. I was like, dude, okay. All right. We're just gonna keep going. Um, I had a conversation yesterday and I said something like, I used to be this person, and the other person that I was talking to said, well, what changed? And it was interesting because then we were having a follow-up conversation. I said, well, you told me I need to cut some stuff out. And they were like, no, I didn't. I asked you what changed. And you said, oh, I'm just so busy, blah, blah, blah. And then I arrived at the conclusion that I needed to edit some things out of my life. And I was like, I remember that differently. And then, so then it started like, anyway, it's a very interesting. Yeah, you did ask what changed. And then it took me down this rabbit hole. And then I made it anyway. So, like, communication is so freaking important. I understand, like, I think I'm a pretty clear communicator, and like, it's not about, we think that communication is about what we say. It's not, that is like one piece of it. Like,
One
it goes out into the ether and is digested by the other party and put
through
through
their
their filter.
filters,
Hmm.
through their own filters. And that's the thing that I think some of us don't take into account. If I say something and I say it through my way of thinking and my way, it could land totally wrong in the other direction. Text, let me just tell everybody, texting and email leaves so much up to interpretation. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten, what do we say, butt hurt because someone has sent me a text message and I read it in the way that I perceived it in that moment. And our perception changes depending on how much we had a, really quick. Let me leave that with this. We have this thing that I learned when I was getting sober: hungry, angry, lonely, tired, halt.
Halt.
And your perception of everything changes with all of that. If I'm hangry, I'm going to perceive what you're saying to me totally different than if I just ate a nice meal, a healthy meal, and I'm feeling good. If I'm angry and pissed off anyway, I'm going to take everything that you say and be pissed off. If I'm lonely and if I'm tired, I have none of my filters are up. Everything, I'm just wide open, vulnerable, and everything you say is going to hurt my feelings. So it is really something to take into account when you're talking to other people is know that everybody's going through their own stuff.
Mhm.
That's it. I don't know. I have to remind myself of that too. When somebody pulls out in front of me and I'm like, I have to remember, I don't know. They may have a baby that's in the hospital and they haven't slept and they're going to go see their baby. You have no idea. So I don't know, just think about it a little bit more. Think about other people and the way that they're seeing the world. When you're saying something, you may have the best of intentions, but when someone tells you that they've hurt their feelings, be open to listening to why and being able to understand that it came through their filter in a different way at a different time in their life and be willing to accept that you hurt someone's feelings and just be able to be ready to make an amends for that and just try to do it differently.
I feel like you were talking to me, like specifically. I thought you were calling me out because I'm just like the texting, the emails, I'll read them completely different. And then the hangriness. Like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't even open your mouth. Don't even say to me, oh yeah, we're gonna eat in 30 minutes because I want to punch you in your friggin' face.
Now we
I
know,
need something now.
Desiree.
Michelle, do we need to do a coach's confessional for you right now
we
to forgive you for
we,
your sins? I
we
was
know.
raised Catholic. I could probably like off the cuff it, right?
Seriously, the hangry. It's like I was like, Dory's talking to me. She's calling me out. I feel like I'm going
That was
red, but
it.
I
You
don't go
didn't have
red.
time for
My
breakfast this
with
morning.
with my hypnosis thing, I flipped the hot seat on you, and now you're welcome.
That
Oh, I recognize the halt because we talk about it in Al-Anon.
Yes, it is it's
It's
really,
a
it's an
thing.
amazing, it's a thing. I mean, you really think about everything impacts everything. I talk about, all through the season about our chemicals in our body. It's hormones, it's emotions, it's thoughts, it's how much sleep you got. It's everything that creates this wonderful package called you. And this package called me. And because we're different and we're running on different levels at different times, sometimes we're just passing each other and missing what the other person is saying. And, I really don't believe a majority of people are assholes, but sometimes it could come across that way because of the way that my filters are for that particular day and that particular moment. Talk to me in another hour after I've eaten a cheeseburger, and it's gonna hit me in a totally different way. Crave cookies. That's all I'm saying.
They're biscuits. Michelle hasn't talked.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
Biscuits. Not
Yeah.
in a can.
Biscuits are not biscuits. You don't put gravy on your biscuits, Michelle?
Oh. Oh.
What the hell is wrong with you? That's disgusting. Even the American biscuits, I still don't put that sausage
Yeah.
gravy crap. That looks nasty. No,
It's
doing
yeah,
that.
it's
It's
not
not the
good.
most attractive dish.
No,
No,
it is not.
no, it's not
No.
at all. At all.
On that note, I guess that's a good place to end. Thank you, Doree, for
Yes.
saving the best for last.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was, I mean, I've learned a lot. And I thought I knew you. And I thought I knew you. But I know
Oh,
more.
you know her.
I
I mean,
know, but but I didn't know all of that story. So, I learned more. So it's
yeah,
good.
it was awesome. I
Yeah, it
really
was.
appreciate it. And we're in discussions about season 2 and what that's gonna look like. And we'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah.
If we decide to have a wrap party, there's still some things up in the air. Yeah, it would be great if you followed us on YouTube and then we could just post stuff there. But yeah, we will get something out to our listeners, let you guys know when we'll be back. We are going to be back, damn it.
Yes,
We
we
just
are. Yes,
we
we
just might
are.
need a wee bit of a break uh in between seasons. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we've enjoyed having all of our listeners. So be sure and subscribe on your podcast player or on YouTube to make sure that you get notified when all of our new episodes drop. Anything y'all would like to say? Wrap up the
Thanks
episode?
for listening. No?
Yes, that's
Okay.
amazing. Yeah.
All right, and we'll see y'all in a couple weeks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Life Coaches Unfiltered. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or follow us on social media. Got a question you've been afraid to ask? Send it our way at lifecoachesunfiltered@gmail.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep questioning, and stay unfiltered.